Welcome to Sir Lancelot's Real Estate Roundtable, your guide to mastering the realm of real estate in Central East Florida. I am Sir Lancelot Lenard, ready to uncover the secrets of seller strategies, home staging, mortgage mastery, and more. From Daytona Beach to Cocoa Beach, Lake County to St. Augustine, join me as we navigate the intricacies of real estate. As the leader of the Sir Lancelot Group at Florida Homes Realty and Mortgage, I'm here to arm you with knowledge and innovation, whether you're a seasoned homeowner or a first-time buyer, unveiling the kingdom of real estate, one roundtable at a time. Welcome to today's episode of the Real Estate Roundtable with myself, Lancelot Lenard. We have a very special guest joining us, Milva, a top-tier real estate professional with Berkshire Hathaway. Milva's incredible journey from Buenos Aires to the bustling market of Southeast Florida has shaped her into a dynamic force in the real estate industry. With a robust background in hospitality and business alongside certifications in property management and home staging, Milva brings a wealth of knowledge and expertise to the table. Tune in as we dive into her inspiring story, gain insights into the luxury home market, and uncover valuable tips for both buyers and sellers. Milva, welcome to the pod.
It's awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Welcome. Thank you for having me. And I'm looking forward to see all the interesting questions you have planned for me.
So the first question is going to be really simple. Can you tell us about your journey from Buenos Aires to Florida and how it has influenced your career in real estate?
Okay, so I moved from Argentina back in '96, and really my family all their lives have been in the real estate business one way or another, where they purchased and rented. And I'm not sure the rental part was that important back in Argentina. A lot of the homes are old and people live that way for a very long time. So I always saw that my parents were in that very busy in that aspect. My grandparents had multiple properties. And then my brother moved here in '96 and '92 actually, and he went the same way. He started buying houses and flipping them. And I think that was all so natural around me that when somebody asked me if I wanted to be an assistant for a real estate agent, I'm like, well, I have no idea. I've never done anything like this. So I guess I'll try it. I was doing property management at the time. And I guess it was all intertwined. I have a business degree. I have what do you call this? Oh my goodness.
Okay.
I did travel with as a flight attendant, and I went to college for hospitality. So everything was so mixed together. When I moved here, I did 2 years of business and college. So by the end, when I started working, I knew how to manage the business side of it. I knew how to manage the people side of it because I was a flight attendant and I had so much interaction with people. I knew how to manage the back end of the transactions because I worked for a property management company. So I guess it all came together. So I worked for an assistant for somebody for 6 years, and I quickly realized that I was doing most of the work. I didn't have the clientele per se, but I was doing the inspections, the listings, the pictures, the contracts, everything. So I guess it was only natural that at one point I was just going to want to go on my own or have a real partnership. And that's what happened. 6 years into working for somebody else, I said, let's do this equally. And it didn't work out. We talked about it and she wasn't ready for that. And I said, okay, it's time to go on my own. So, yeah, I stayed with her. Huh?
Great story, I said.
Yeah. And then I realized I had in Argentina, I was a flight attendant. I was going to college there, but for a short period of time, I worked for a real estate company, and I didn't remember that not till like 4 years after having started this business here. I'm like, oh my gosh, I worked for this company. It was completely different. They made me, Argentina is almost where I come from. It's like New York, tons of buildings, high risers, people walk everywhere. So this office that I worked for was centrally located, and they would send me every day to go to every building and press all the buttons and see if anybody was interested in selling. There was no internet then, there was no text messaging, none of that. So I had to press all the buttons, and some buildings had 60 units, and hey, by the way, I'm in real estate, but I did not remember that for the longest time. So I guess it's always been there, I just didn't know.
That is a cool form of door knocking. I come from a little city called Budapest, Hungary. And we have the
Cool.
same kind of system. So when you come to the doors, there's
Yeah.
everybody's names listed there, and you could just
Yeah,
push the buttons and call them and
yeah.
then talk to whoever answers. Yeah. So that
I don't think obviously it's super different here and there. I don't even know how it is there now, to be honest, because I've been here longer than I live there. But I don't think I got a deal to the table. I think I was just looking for leads, let's put it that way.
yeah.
And I don't remember having to study for it. So it was more than anything, a real estate company asking me to go do the dirty job.
I mean, it's incredible because you need courage to do things like that. And that could pave your road to a great career in the
Listen,
United
I
States,
moved
you
here
know?
when I was 23, so if I had to guess, I was probably 18 or 19 years old when I did that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Ballsy, I would say, just ringing up random houses.
You gotta do what you gotta do, and I think that's the attitude that you need to have in this business. There's a lot of people that through the years, you hear their stories and they come and they tell you, oh, well, I'm not gonna do rentals. I said, how do you not do rentals? I understand they take time or whatever it is, but at the end of the day, how many people that you do rentals for, if you educate them properly, are gonna wanna go to the next stage?
Yeah.
How many people that you do a rental for have recommended you to somebody else? So one thing leads to the next, and as long as you put in the hard work and you have the right attitude, there's no reason for you not to be successful. Obviously, it depends on the market that you're in and what's available and what's happened globally. But at the end of the day, you just need to work, put it in.
So next question,
Yeah.
Berkshire Hathaway in 2013,
Mhm.
what made you join the company and what's the experience you've gotten from this company so far?
Okay, so I was working for a property management company across the street from Prudential, 3 blocks away from my house. I was super comfortable. I just had my little circle. And I was working there part-time. I was recently divorced, and my sister-in-law had gotten her license, and she was working for, I believe it was Kohler Banker back then. And she wanted to be more exposed, so she got a call to see if she wanted to assist these 2 top agents in Prudential in that Coral Springs office. And I guess they interviewed her and they didn't like her. I don't know. But she said, well, you know what? My sister-in-law lives right here. She doesn't have a license, but she's good with the administrative portion of whatever it is that you need. And I went and I interviewed. I wasn't even looking for a job. I already had a part-time job, And they basically both wanted to hire me. And they thought they wanted to share me. And then I'm like, these are 2 different personalities. It's gonna be a problem. So the one may be a better offer, and I thought I would get along with her a lot better also. And that's it. It was Prudential. She had been a top agent. She had been doing this for 27 years, so she had a big book of clients. She was in this business when it was a lot of fun, I guess. I hear when they used to use the books, and it was a big party and everybody was having fun. So she had a lot of stories and she exposed me to so much. And she had been with Prudential, which was Arvida, so it was a continuation of what she was doing. And honestly, the company always treated me very fairly, although I was her assistant, and that's how I started. I did have my license. All the deals went through her. The office respected me from the beginning because I was taking care of, like I mentioned before, all of her business. The agents that were in the office would come and ask me questions, not her. And she was a top agent because she had the clientele. But like I said, I was supporting all the business. So then I believe it was the end of 2013, they took over as Berkshire Hathaway. And for me, the brand is inspiring just because of Warren Buffett and his way of handling business, and the fact that he's so smart that he was able to acquire an enormous amount of companies, but a lot of them that intertwine with each other. So at the end of the day, we have a great support. Doesn't mean that I use all the affiliates that we have, but we have so many that when you go and present yourself and who you work for, and you're able to lay a foundation that makes people comfortable, I think it's a powerful name. And there's other big names, but at the end of the day, for me, switching to another company, if I ever thought about it, I do get scouted probably, once or twice a week by different people, different companies. I interviewed with all of them at some point last year, and I just keep them going back to where I'm at. I just want to stay here because I believe in the brand believes in me. And for us, it's a great match. And also, one of the big reasons why I love Berkshire Hathaway is we have a relocation department, which a lot of companies don't. And one of my big fortes, and I love to educate people. So for me, having a family that's moving from another country or don't speak English and they need help with the language because I'm Spanish, I can. That whole package to me is really important. So question number one, if somebody's trying to scout me, do you have a relo department? If they say no, then right off the bat, it's going to be hard for me to move. But the fact that I'm certified for relocations and certified as a luxury agent, I think altogether combined with the company itself, it works out.
That's awesome. Relocation. I mean, we're in Florida, both you and I. So relocation is a big thing in anywhere in Florida. We have so many people coming here that I think most of my clients so far I could probably say 60-70% of my clients have from another state to here.
Yeah. This is more legit. It goes through a relocation company that they get a relocation package. Those are usually big companies that are paying for their employees to be moved here. But yes, relocation is huge. We're in an area that it's inevitable. It's just everybody believes that this is where they want to be, where they want to end. And a lot of people are unfamiliar. And luckily, by me doing this for so long, I get that initial call that they want to move, they have no idea where they're going, and I am able to give them options and explain why and why I think it's best. And then that way you narrow it down, because it's scary. The whole idea of having to move states, yet alone countries, with little kids where they need school information, all that stuff. It allows me to set a path for them that if at the end of the day they become successful in the path that I help them set, that is only more business to come.
Exactly.
And if they relocate it once, they're going to relocate again, most likely.
Years.
These companies it's pretty weird how they're operating. I don't want to give you all the names because they're all big names, but it's crazy. I think a lot of the back end that we don't understand is some positions need to be in one place before they can get to a higher place. So they rotate the people here and there. Big companies do that.
I get it.
Everything is temporary, but at the same time, they get benefits by relocating. Usually their packages they pay closing costs for them, or obviously all the move is taken care of, or I don't know. They give them so many different perks that it's almost incentives for them to just go and buy. And a lot of them do rentals at the beginning just because they want to get a better idea of the areas, but there's a little bit of everything.
So your hospitality and business background, how does that affect and how do you leverage it in your real estate business?
It just makes things some natural. Like when I was working for that top agent, I organized her whole office, the systems that we used, the files in the inbox on the emails by client, by transaction type. Everything was so put together that it was easier and more effective to work that way. And when I implemented that for her, I didn't realize that I was going to be carrying it to my own business. But that's one aspect. The hospitality is just the ability that I have to interact with people. I'm a people person, so I can adapt to different personalities. I love children. I like older people. So it's just like, it's easy. Now, if you're a grumpy person walking around and then you have to work with people that you might not enjoy, then you have an issue. But the way that I handle it is I have a good attitude. It doesn't matter what, because you need to adapt. There's no two clients are the same, and some are better than others or easier to handle than others, or whichever it is. But I think having that is something that has benefited me a lot. And then I did get certified as a not home inspector, as a home stager. And that also, in a way, makes people super comfortable when you go in their house and they say, well, listen, I really don't know if I should do something. And you gotta be really careful because you don't want to upset them or tell them their house is not up to par. But if you use the people skills plus the decorating portion of it, which we're organizing and all that, you just become a stronger, better agent. So all of it for me has been a full circle. I think in order for it to be a complete circle, I should go get my therapy license. And that would be complete.
Oh my God,
That's all
definitely
I
a
need right now
psychologist for
because,
sure. Oh my
oh
God.
my God. Yeah,
We
yeah.
need that because I've seen deals that were on a great track, and then the last week and a half, panic and everything going through their minds, like, oh, I did a bad decision, cold feet, and this and that, and up and down. I'm gonna kill myself, Lancelot. This is not right. Blah blah blah. I'm like, oh my God. Then what
It's
do
like,
you do?
yeah, every deal is different, but you get, this is not all fun and games. We're not all shopping for a new house because we want to. Most of the people do, but a lot of people are in distress. They have personal situations, they have divorces, they have parents that are sick, they have, children that
Children?
need to go to. I have two too many, yep.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. I love my children. Yeah, I have a 17-year-old daughter and a 22-year-old boy.
I have a 5-year-old daughter and a 8-month-old son.
Okay, God bless you with a daughter. Yeah, just wait.
She is also gifted. So
Mine is too. That's
like
even worse.
she like the whip. She is so smart. It's
Yeah,
insane.
yeah.
And she's starting
It'll be
right
used
now.
against you. It will be used against you.
I
Just
know
know it.
all the time.
Yeah.
Lucky that I'm probably the sharper end of the stick here. So
Listen, here's the thing. They'll beat you down. It doesn't matter. Just wait. Okay. It starts when they're like 10 and it intensifies by the age of 15. You want to put them away somewhere. And then it's a whole year of nonsense, and then they get a little smarter. You give them more responsibility in order for them to get what they want, which is a car at that point, and then you leverage.
This
Yeah.
is the thing. She feels like she's 5 going on 13 already.
Well, that's my daughter was 10 going on 20, 30. Like, if you ask me all the time, that was my response.
Yeah.
You know?
What's going on? Why are you talking like this? The why has already started. Everything
Yeah.
ends with a why. Why?
Yeah.
Can
Yeah.
you please sit on your chair? Why? Can you do
Yeah.
why? Can you stop
I
asking
don't
why,
know.
please, for everything? You know?
Yeah, I think you need to tackle that sooner rather than later. I mean, be smart. I had no choice, and I added a divorce on top of that. So it was really hard because obviously there's always one that's more lenient than the other. And I was not I was the lenient one. So it was easier for her to go make her other part, her dad just
Yeah.
agreed to everything she said. And then she would give me the hard time, but we all have something and just be ready. That's it.
We are working out mentally to be
Yeah.
prepared for this, what's
Yeah.
coming. We read books. I think we're prepared for it. We'll see what happens. We have grandma. My mom raised 3 of us boys, so she lives with us half a year, usually out of
Well,
the
that
year.
helps.
So
That helps.
yeah, that helps a lot. I mean, she has a
Um,
different mentality. I'll tell you that than today's
Oh,
generation.
yeah,
Oh,
I'm pretty stern and what I say is what I want to be done because you can't give them room for them to take over. But at the same time, just like I said before, in my situation, if I say no and the other parent says yes, there's
that's true.
not much
You gotta be on
adjustment.
the same front. That's what my mom always tells me and my wife. We talk a lot
Yeah.
now, and we started to get on the same front because before it was what she says goes, and daddy's not always important because
Yeah,
daddy's just working and daddy's daddy. So
yeah,
we have
yeah,
came to the conclusion that hey, we have to be on the same page. This is not gonna work.
correct.
That what daddy says and what mommy says. No, mommy,
Yeah.
daddy says the same
Yeah,
thing.
you definitely have. That's my one piece of advice. If you can, just stay together in thoughts and thinking whatever, lay some rules out and just try to keep them all together. Because that's really what confuses them. And they want you to put boundaries, but at the same time, if you're telling them they don't need any, it's just gonna turn into.
Getting back to real estate. This is a
Yeah.
cool little off-topic thing. I'm pretty sure people will like to listen to that. How do you see the luxury home market in your area right now in Fort Lauderdale and around that area? What's trending right now? What's happening? Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, to be honest, Fort Lauderdale is such a popular area. Like I said, I work Tri-County. I work Palm Beach, Broward, and Miami-Dade. I'd rather stay in Broward and Palm Beach just because the Miami-Dade area it's confusing. The agents are different.
Oh yeah, I know that.
So if you want to do double the work, then get more listings in Miami. If you want to be in an even playing field, you'll get a lot of good agents in the Fort Lauderdale area, Broward County. And then Palm Beach, everything is peachy in Palm Beach, so it's all good. It's a lot more calm, not calmer, I don't want to say because there's a lot going on, but I don't know, people are a little bit more relaxed. But the market itself in Fort Lauderdale, I guess, because you have so many people in and out because of the big companies and all the people from California thought they wanted to live in Florida, then they realized it's not what they thought, and all the people from New York. There's always a lot of activity. The luxury listing market is enormous. Anything on the coast is expensive. There's a lot of opportunities, but there's also 50, 60, 70,000 agents.
Are you
So-
seeing it? Are you seeing it is it going up or is it going down? What are you feeling? Because the market's been strange in my area.
Really?
Our luxury starts around 800K. So it's a little different than your luxury.
Yeah, here, well, there's different areas, like Berkshire Hathaway has a sheet that determines what the luxury market value is depending on the city.
Yeah.
Okay, overall, I think they start at $1 million. Okay, that would be luxury. If it's an area that doesn't have those high listings, they start at 800, but most of it starts at $1 million. If it's a very popular area, maybe they start at $1.5 million or $1.2 million, but there's so much, okay? So much of what's on the coast, any house on the water, they're huge. I mean, there's homes for 30, 40, $50 million.
Yeah.
Do I have any of those? No. I'm super comfortable with my clientele, and it's pretty much ranges between the 9s and the 3.5 million. That's what there's more volume on. Unfortunately, the condo market is just, it's something that I don't really even want to touch with a pen. I don't want to get closer, but if a client calls you and you have to sell, you have to sell. And right now, we're not in season, which is the first problem we're having. The second problem we're having is these associations are half or 3/4 of them upside down. They're poorly managed. They don't have enough funds to carry on business, repairs that they had money for. Everything has skyrocketed so much in order to do those repairs. All the 40 and 50-year certification and engineering inspections are a disaster. So when you try to go sell a condo, there's 20, 30, $50,000 in assessments. Who has money to pay that?
Insane.
Even the people that live in the building for 30, 40 years, they're 90 years old and they're hit with assessments. It's not. But besides that, the regular people that have to move right now, there's some good schools in Fort Lauderdale, some public good schools, a lot of good private schools. Summer gets busy when it's a good school area on the east side because it's hard to find. So you find neighborhoods that go to certain elementary schools that if the home is properly priced, they should go right away. And then that's the east side of town. And then in Broward on the west side of town, which is cities like Weston and Parkland, West Boca, which is Palm Beach, those have great schools. During the summer, as soon as they finish the school in some other state, people relocate here because they want to be able to live in a nice house and be able to send their kids to a public school that's rated A. So the summer is super busy on the west part of Broward County. Things are good. I mean, I don't think the Fort Lauderdale market is ever going to suffer. Prices are stable. They're not going up crazy. If you see that the neighbor is trying to put the house up for sale, $300,000 more than the one that sold next door and it was spec'd almost the same, they're not going to sell it. It happens to me all the time. I get all these agents that go sit down, promise things that are not viable. And I'm like, I told you so. like this year it happened 3 times already. I sit down with them, have an initial conversation, do a really thorough meeting, tell them this is how much your house is worth. Let's get an appraisal if you want to confirm. And they don't like my number. And then 6 months go by. If they're smart, they only do a 3-month listing with somebody that promised them something that they couldn't make come true. And then they call me and they're like, sorry, I told you so. I said, now you're giving me a stale listing. You beat it up. You reduced, but you didn't reduce enough. And now you still want me to sell it. And I will.
This is I have a really good friend and she's an amazing agent. She's down by your area. She's around Aventura. And she always says that I love to be second or third on a listing because I know that I'm going to be the one selling it at that point. Because most people in that area are really prone to exaggerate their list price. So she's like, I'd like to be second or third because by the time it gets to me, they'll understand that price is not viable.
Yeah, it's just the fact that an agent will do whatever, some agent will do whatever just to get the listing, but you have to be honest. And that's, I guess, one of my biggest qualities. My clients know I'm 100% honest. I'll walk into a property with you and I'll tell you, yeah, no, look, that whole thing side is crooked. But I try to be transparent because otherwise I can't sleep at night. So that's how I've handled my business. And that's what makes me have recurring clients. I cannot imagine somebody coming to a listing appointment, giving you a bunch of BS, holding that listing for 6 months, ruining these people's lives, making them get out of their house every weekend for an open house, and it totally being overpriced and not, you're really doing a service to the client, but they don't think about it.
I would like to add one thing because not every agent has a firm stance. And I think that's the issue. It's, as we always say, this is not a business for everybody. Although everybody thinks they could do it and they're really good at it or whatever, but it's not for everybody.
Yeah.
And you got to be able to stand up for your numbers. You're the professional. And a lot of agents are like, yeah, sure, I'll just sign, and they're shaking and they're happy that they're getting a listing, but they know they're deep in their mind that they're never going to sell that listing for that number.
No.
But they're just too scared to stand up.
There's sellers that are going to want you to list at a certain price, and I get it. But you have to come to terms the day that they're signing that listing paperwork that within 30 days, if something did not, you have to set the correct expectation. And the way that I handle this, it's like, I know you're probably not in agreement with the number that I'm going to give you because your expectations are higher, but I have proof. People use RPR, they use different systems. I don't. There's so much software in this business that you can go bananas. I go into my Excel, I pull the comps, I do a spreadsheet for them that calculates everything. I write notes on why is it a better property? Why is it a worse property? So that they can understand exactly what I'm giving them. If they want more detailed stuff, yes, I can go into an RPR, but it's not my job, to put it that way. I have documentation to show you that whatever you've been looking on Zillow is not real. Whatever, it's most of the time it's not, because that they don't get in your house, they don't look at it, they don't compare properly.
Exactly.
If they still disagree with my number, then I sit down and I said, okay, well, let's make up a plan. I'd like to do it coming soon for a week, 10 days, release it on an open house, try to have as many busybodies in the open house as possible so that it creates an engagement. Put a sign out that says all offers are due on Tuesday. If I get offers, but I don't, but I'm telling them my expectations are, let's get this done. I'm not going to wait. And typically it works. And it's not because it's underpriced. It's just because the price is justified. I like to justify the price. I don't like to go high in order to reduce or negotiate. I'd rather have 2 or 3 more people interested in than going straight to an asking price offer than not. But I do have to tell you, this year, all year, I had listings, more listings than buyers, and everybody's negotiating. Last year, it was asking price. The year before, it was over asking price, 100 and 70 and 50. This year, everybody's negotiating, and sometimes there's no room. Like, I just negotiated an offer last night, and they were asking $999, and we closed the deal today with $980. 20 grand. My buyers are happy. The sellers are happy too, because they signed. But we didn't see all this negotiation a couple of years ago or 3 years ago.
Oh,
So
there was no negotiation.
that,
2022,
huh? Yeah, of
2022, it
course.
was absolutely no negotiation.
Yeah. Now there's more room for a little back and forth, but if people are savvy, they go into all these websites and they know what a comp is. They know what the neighborhood is selling for. They might not be 100% accurate, but you can't sell something that's worth $1.5 million and try to get 2 million. You have to justify it.
I've noticed those clients, sellers that are really old school and not up to par with the modern technology. Those are the ones that are, my house, 1.5. Back in the day, we used to do it like this. Can you do it like that? Bring your
Yeah.
buyer. I'll sell it to them. Blah, blah, blah. I said,
Yeah, they think they want to be there for the open house and yeah.
exactly. And then when you go and sit down with them, it's like, you know that everybody has the information of how much your neighbor sold for.
Yeah.
Most new buyers are savvy enough to look up a tax record or a estimate or on Zillow, see how much the
Yeah.
thing's for, or whatever, because they're out there.
Yeah.
They're out there. The information
Yeah.
definitely out there.
It's
Or they
just,
ask your agent, the buyer's agent, hey, can you get me a CMA on this? I had that multiple times.
yeah. But
The buyers are asking
again,
that.
it depends on the agent and their strategy. I have to tell you, I have a neighbor, we just moved from Pompano, in Jupiter Farms. We have a neighbor 2 doors down. I'm not gonna give names, but if they ever see this, they're gonna know that it's them. So I had done a deal with this guy that he has a transaction coordinator out of the country. He doesn't do paperwork, but he has this used sales card person chat, and he's on the older side, so he appeals that type of sellers or buyers or whatever, but slimy, a little slimy. I don't wanna say, I can't say that. But he's the kind of guy that if he has an open house, he collects cars. He will put all his cars in the driveway to pretend there's more people in, and then you walk in and there's like him and his assistant, and you're like, I thought there were 15 people in here going through the open house. But that's his strategy, whatever. It doesn't work. Either way, so my neighbors come to me and they're like, oh, we really don't have to sell, but would like to sell. We want to move up north and blah, blah, blah. And they're like, okay, we're gonna interview 3 agents and you're the first one because you're our neighbor. Do I hang out with them? No, but we're friendly neighbors. We have dogs. We chat every time we run into each other, but we don't hang out. But I'm the real estate agent on that area in the block and we're all friends. I sit down and I said, listen, 2-hour presentation. Everything. I told them they had open permits. They didn't know. I told them about their roof. They didn't know. I told them a lot of things. The house is immaculate, but it is a 2-bedroom converted into a 3-bedroom, which was the 1-car garage. That room had a door that goes to the outside. It's a little funky. House is all cut up, small, 1,600 square feet. And I said, listen, there's no way that I can turn this around and probably get the number that you're expecting, because I had already heard what they wanted to sell for. I said, but honestly, this house should sell depending on when we list it, if it's today or if it's in 2 months from now, for $1,250,000, between $1,150,000 and $1,250,000. Then she's like, okay, she immediately got up the chair and started walking around, like the meeting was done. Okay, when I said a number.
As soon
But
as
I
you say the
had,
number, always.
yeah, I had ways to justify that.
Yeah.
And I educated them for 2 hours. So then they interviewed the other 2 guys. The one came with a Bentley. And I'm like, okay, I walked there. I was 2 doors down.
Yeah.
I couldn't impress them with a much more expensive car than the house almost, but either way, that's the strategy again. And then they called somebody else that I knew was not gonna get the listing. So in my particular neighborhood, I'm familiar because I live there with the agents, although I work Tri-County. Either way, they gave the guy the listing and they listed it for $1,465,000, which right off the bat, why 65 and not 49? You're pushing people away for those
Yeah.
$15,000. At that point, it doesn't matter. Either way, he had it listed for 6 months. Not one offer, one open house every weekend.
Did he drop
And
the
she
price?
came to never, I think that they dropped it like 25,000.
That's nothing. Yeah.
But I said the houses in the corner, they were both over 2,000 square feet. They both had 180 feet on water instead of the 75 that this house had. They both had garages. This one didn't have a garage. They both have newer roofs. Yeah, they weren't as immaculate taken care of, but there's nothing that 50 grand couldn't have done
Yeah.
to bring everything impeccable and everything shiny. But it was an older home anyways. They were all old. And those sold for $1,350,000. So what are we doing here? You just wasted all that time. They're still debating if they're gonna list it again or wait, if they're gonna call me or not. But they literally wasted 6 months because this guy sold them a line and said, oh, I'll do this house for you, blah, blah, blah. No, but you know what he does? What he does is he has an open house every weekend. Who do you think that open house is for?
For him.
The sellers or him?
Of course.
What he's trying to do is pick up more buyers.
Yeah.
Or more sellers. He's not interested as much in, you know how many, I went through his history, I'm like, you have about 6 listings that have been on the market between 300 and 600 days.
Wow.
That's not real estate. What are you doing? So anyways, a lot of people decide that price is an issue, and when you don't agree with them what they want, they think that somebody else that it's telling them you're gonna get more for your house is gonna be the actual person, and it's not. I just sold a house I closed last week, $2 million house that somebody listed for 2.6, and it was never a 2.6, you know?
Yeah.
And they told me, they called me and they said, we know you told us, and I'm so sorry. I said, well, now you're really giving me a beat up listing. Now I have to re-strategize. I would have sold it on the first week if you would have given me this listing and for higher. Because what happens is after you see this property on the market for so long, now you start wondering what's wrong with it, besides the price. And there was a lot wrong to it with it too. Yeah. So anyways.
Double-edged sword there. Hey, last question, okay? Tips for first-time buyers in your area. Got any good ones?
Oh, well, we have a lot of condos in our area. First of all, it's really hard to get financing, so if your budget is anything under 350, save some more money and wait till you get a townhouse or a villa or a single family. Take advantage of the programs that are out there. I think that today they're just putting more money into the hometown hero.
Heroes, yep, they're getting refunded.
So it's viable. I, for example, have a listing right now that's gonna come up that has an FHA assumable loan and the rate is 2.5. Try to look for assumable loans if you qualify for an FHA. It's tough. There's a lot, and now with the changes that are coming, which I'm still not even focused on. I do business by the day. Today, it doesn't affect me. I'll figure that stuff out when it comes time, but if you can buy now, buy now. Cause that's gonna take away another chunk of money that you might have to be putting into the deal. And just get an agent that's honest, because at the end of the day, it's not worth it to buy something that superficially looks good, but then the issues come after you close and you already spent all your money. So have somebody that does the due diligence, that cares about you, and that will set you up so that you're in a good place. There's always issues, nothing is super simple, but somebody that you can trust, that's it. But don't be afraid. I mean, interest rates can change. This is not a horrible, like today, my clients that I closing that, put that deal together, they got a 6.5 rate. It's not terrible.
Pretty good.
Listen, I bought my first house here in 2000 and the rate was like 10%. So it's not bad. Just know that the not norm was the 2.5%. That's not normal. That was just the economy trying to get back to where it needed to after a really harsh COVID situation, but 6.5 is not bad. 4.5 would be ideal, but.
I think my first one was like 5 3/4.
Oh, really? Yeah.
My first mortgage.
I mean, at the end of the day, be smart, buy a property that has resale value, buy a property that you if you do some alterations to it, it will appreciate. Because if you buy in a neighborhood where every house is a cookie cutter and you're already paying more than what the last one sold for, and on top of that, you're gonna put another $50,000 into it, you're never gonna get your money back. But like, for example, in the area I'm in right now, it's all acreages, right? And there's homes in here from 800 all the way to 5 million. At the end of the day, if you buy a piece of property that you could put another structure on it, or that you can make an addition, you can get as much money for that house as you prep it for. You have no cap. in a gated community with all the same floor plans, you gotta be careful that you're not over investing because you're comparing apples to apples there. Here, or in places where you do have that freedom that you don't have the HOA and all that good stuff, you can raise the value of your property almost immediately after you buy it.
Depending
So,
on your surrounding sales.
yeah, I mean, broad market, like anything on the east for us, there's older homes that are from the sixties or seventies and they're selling for $1.5 million. But what happens if it's on the water and you have a brand new construction 3 doors down, that house is selling for 3.5 million.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is there's always room for improvement if you find a property that gives you the ability of improving and not being pricing yourself out of the market. It's a condo that's the same as this condo, 2 floors higher or lower, you're not gonna make $200,000 on it.
No, 10,000 max.
And
5,
people need to
10,000.
understand, oh, I wanna put $300,000 in the unit. Well, you're never gonna get it back. So, I don't know, it's a case by case situation, but at the end of the day, if you have an agent that cares, they'll give you all the tips at that point.
That's awesome. Milva, thank you very much for coming on today and giving us
That was
all this
fun.
amazing information. You
I
are,
appreciate you.
oh my God, wealth of knowledge. You have so much to give.
I
Thank you
love
very
what I
much.
do. And I think that's really what keeps me going every day. I really love what I do. This is the longest thing that I've done in all these years. And honestly, I feel pressure by just knowing that other people are happy. I'm walking into all these beautiful homes all the time. I mean, how can you not love this? And
I love South Florida because of that, but
I got all
like
these
it because of the
decorating
competition.
ideas from in and out of being in different houses, and I just love it. I love the different personalities. I love the different neighborhoods. I just love it all.
That's
So,
awesome.
thank you for having me. For the people that have never transacted before, there are so many tips and things that go through that we sometimes think that, oh, they already know. They don't know. The scenarios are all different. I think it would be easier if I were in the Midwest and where it is what it is. Here, the range of options is so large, the range of agents is so big, and companies, and there's a lot. We can talk for days.
Definitely. So the thing, as you said, this podcast is going to help a lot of sellers and buyers. And that's the whole point about it. It's like, guys, this is what we do. This is not just what CNN shows in a 5-second preload that Mr. Biden said that our fees are junk fees. This is not it. We do a lot for what we do. Not every agent is good agent, but
Some people are gonna still have that perception,
Yeah.
but if you lay it out, like I was talking, I had some visitors over, yes, some friends, and they were thinking about moving and selling their house and all that good stuff. And we were talking about the issue with the commission coming up and all that, which again, until we're there, we're not there, but they wanna know. And I said, what's gonna happen is if you like 5 houses, okay, and unfortunately, 4 of them are not paying commission, and you tell that buyer, hey, you're gonna have to pay me, all the attention is gonna go to that 5th listing that will sell in 30 seconds. It is important for my sellers to understand that at that point, if we put the house on the market for X amount and we're gonna get the pool of buyers that all the other houses are not getting because their buyers can't pay for it, when you're gonna have, instead of 1 buyer, you're gonna have 10 buyers looking at your house and it's gonna raise up the price.
And it's going to pay for that, whatever we're offering to the other side. Correct.
But it's all going back to the same thing. You have to educate. You cannot assume that your clients are understanding of how the business works. It's on you to explain to them and guide them and make them feel that they are covered, that there's somebody there that cares. Because if you're in for the money, then that's not the right reason to be in this business. You have to relate.
Money's a consequence to your great service.
Yeah.
For number one is the people and to take care of the people. And money is just a consequence, what happens because you're doing a great job in taking care of people. I think that's how a lot of people should think about
I don't,
this.
and this is, I don't know if I'm supposed to say this, I do not count my money until it's in the bank.
Yeah.
I don't anticipate what my commission is gonna be, because you know what? Unfortunately, in some situations, I gotta give money away.
Oh,
just
I
to
do
make
that
it
almost on every single deal, almost every single deal.
one way or another, you know, I'm making the deal come together. Rarely that everything goes smooth and everybody's happy with what it is. It's human nature. People want more, okay?
Yeah,
Sometimes they don't have it. I've done deals, FHA deals, where the money they put for deposit got back to them and they closed with zero, which they were like, what? We're getting a credit? Somebody's giving me a check? Closing? Buying? I don't understand. It happens. It can happen. You just need somebody to represent you that knows what they're doing.
yeah.
Each case is different. It's just you need to have somebody that has your back. Otherwise, and I think that's where all these changes are going to be beneficial for the agents that really care about their clients. The rest are just gonna be trickling out of the business. I think. I don't know. We'll see.
Just saying,
We
I
shall see.
think there's plenty of us. I don't think we need more. We need good ones. Good ones can come, as many as you
There's a lot
want.
of people who are not
Go
renewing
to
their
school,
license.
be
It's just
good at
turned
it, you
too
know,
hard. Yeah,
but some of the people do need to rethink their career choice. Gets us where we are.
I agree. I agree.
Especially in South Florida, my God, down there, it's a different
I
beat.
don't even know how many agents are out there, like, it's ridiculous. But some people just, to be honest, some people just go get their license because they wanna sell their house.
Yeah.
You
I
know,
mean, look, if my
that
house
doesn't
is
mean
for
they're
$3.5
practicing.
million and I live in South Florida, do I want to pay $90,000 in commission to someone? If I bought that house for
Can I tell you
700,000 and went up,
This listing that I sold in Boca,
Yeah.
that the guy listed for 2,695,000 or whatever it was, he had never done a deal.
first deal.
He was a friend. And he had just got his license and he didn't tell me, but after they got, so when I did my presentation, I opened their eyes about everything. I scheduled 4-point inspections so that the roof was old, so that I could figure out if there was something wrong before we put it on the market. We found a lot of stuff wrong. I told them to fix it. And then they went MIA. And I see the listing, because after I go to a listing appointment, I put it on my watch list.
Yeah.
To see.
The address. Yeah. If it comes
Yeah,
up.
it's to see if somebody else, and they went MIA, and I'm like, okay. And when I saw that it popped up, I researched the guy, he had no sales. And he had given them a discount. I'm like, he called me and said, I'm so sorry, but we decided to go with somebody else because he's giving us a discount. I'm like, you never asked me. We never talked commission. We were talking the price of your house. I said, he's like, well, he's a friend of ours. He just got his license. I said, I'm so sorry. He just got his license and you're giving him your trusted $2.5 million house, or 2.4, whatever we thought it was worth at that point. And he has no knowledge as to how to market it, present it, or anything. I said, would you hire a surgeon that got his degree yesterday? Or would you hire a surgeon that did 100 surgeries? I'm not understanding. So that's when he called me 3 months later and he said, I told you I know. But people promise you, I'm sure everybody wants to sell what they're getting as a listing. You're not just making false promises. You have an intention to get it to the finish line. It's just that if you're not knowledgeable, if you don't know how to handle the situation, your buyers walk away and you have to start from scratch over and over again.
Well, as you said, but this is the thing. They basically used you. You went in, gave them all the information
Everything.
they needed, and then, hey, buddy, come over. I'll give you all the pamphlets I got from this lady. Can you do this? You know, and then, oh yeah, I could do that, and I'll give you a discount too, because I am your friend, and she's overcharging you, blah blah blah. I'm like, sure she is,
I
but
had never,
she was
you
bringing
know,
knowledge to the table that guy wasn't, obviously. That's why this is another thing about our fees. Our fees are our fees because of who we are and how much experience we have. The best analogy about this is that old guy that bangs on the ship with a hammer and says this job was $100,000, and the guy's, why is it $100,000? Because I knew where to bang with that hammer, and that's what cost you the money, not the three people that you called before me that didn't know how to fix it.
Couldn't find it. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, well, that's why it's important to get your reviews, which I'm not always asking them. I ask once, and if they don't do it, I know people are busy or they want to write something really big and then it's not the right time when you ask them, they forget. But reviews, word of mouth, having a good reputation is the only thing that's going to give you longevity in this business. I haven't been a real estate agent for that long. It's only been 13 years, but 13? Yeah. So 13, maybe not even to 13, maybe 11? I don't know. I feel like it's been a
2012
whole
was
life.
Berkshire
Like I
Hathaway.
have gray hairs, I have, all kinds of wrinkles. I have anxiety,
That's from the
all this
kids.
real
That's from the
estate.
kids. That's from the kids. That's
Yeah,
it's from the
yeah.
kids.
No, yeah, because everybody's like a kid. When you're managing
Exactly.
so many deals at the same time and so many different personalities, and it's just not your client, it's the inspector, it's the title company, it's the lender, it's the insurance gal. It's like, whoa, a
Wow.
lot.
Everybody.
Yeah, yeah,
Maybe
everybody.
you should all be robots.
No, I find
No,
it
not the
fun.
people. I'm talking about
Yeah.
like the insurance guy and the
Yeah.
mortgage broker, because all of their egos are coming in and battling with you as well all the time.
The
So
way to succeed is to try to build yourself a team of exceptional people around you, people that you can trust, people that you can pick up the phone anytime and say, hey, by the way, like last night, my lender was texting me at 10:30 at night. I said, well, sharpen your pencil because my buyer is gonna go with a bank instead, because they believe in the institution and they don't know what you can give them. So bring out your best rate, give him a point, give it a discount, give him something if you want the business, because some business better not. He's like, Milva, you got it. And I believe he's gonna get it, because once he sees the underlying fine print of a bank and the fact that our contract says we need a 21-day commitment instead of 30, the bank is gonna go, really? You just need a good team of people around you and people you can trust. That's it.
thanks, Milva, again.
Okay,
Thank you for
awesome.
coming on board. It was awesome. A pleasure having you, and I will love to have you again. We'll talk soon.
Absolutely. Yeah, just tell me when. Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining us on Sir Lancelot's Real Estate Roundtable, where we've unveiled the mysteries of real estate together. Remember, in this kingdom of possibilities, every dream home is just a discussion away. I can help your real estate dreams come true. Just call me at 786-449-7518. Until our next roundtable, may your ventures be prosperous and your homes be filled with love and joy. Farewell, fellow knights of real estate.